based upon a belief in the uniqueness of human life. And so if I tried to measure the church, if I was trying to measure New Hope, let's just take New Hope Central, let the other guys be okay out there, whatever. You know, when I look at a congregation of people, all I see is potential. I don't see potential of Christians. I see the potential of a unique life that's within the generality of being a son or daughter of God.
Right.
And my whole desire is to somehow help bring that life into expression. I deeply believe in the infinite variety of God, and I deeply believe that it's within each one of us, and that the church is meant to represent not a congregation of kind, gentle, wonderful people. I don't have a problem with that. Yeah, but I think that congregations are meant to represent those unique lives being built together to shape an identity that's common to a group of people. And I don't see that. I hardly ever see that anywhere. That's what I major in. So when I go back to Kenya, I don't have a big congregation of people. I'm a minister. I have a lot of individual people who I recognize the uniqueness of, that my life is invested in. I'm not concerned necessarily of gathering them together into a congregation. I just want to do whatever is necessary to raise them up and release them to be who they are in whatever sphere of influence God has given to them.
Unique expression.
Yeah. So that's where I am, and I see that in part. I see that lacking very much in the church, and I think that's all about. I think that's issues of fatherhood, if you would, and I think it's issues of value. And I was somewhere on Sunday out in Waipahu on Sunday, and it's almost predictable to watch people come in, and it was, the opening prayer was about a family gathering, you know, but when I looked at the family coming into the house, I saw everybody come through the front door and go find their own bedroom and sit down and kind of close the door, yeah? You with me? Yeah. And so,
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I see that everywhere I go. I see this. That's the orphan spirit. That's the independent, self-reliant kind of attitude, kind of thing. That's the one that does that. And you bring them together. And then I did a night meeting over at the same place that night. And sure enough, 6:30 came. And exactly after having moved them together and telling them why I was moving them together, or what I saw when they came at 6:30, they all went to their separate rooms. Yeah, and we had to go through the process again. So, I see these things that are eminent. I see as the Father's heart is coming, with it comes a value of human life. Not just in general, but in the specific.
Yeah.
Any father that truly manifested the heart of God would only be interested in one thing, and that would be to raise his son and daughter up into the reality of his intentions. Yeah, that his entire life would be devoted to that. And so when we see these things like the outpouring of the Father's love coming as kind of the first wave of something that takes place, hopefully it brings with it a renewed sense of value, not just in the Father's heart, but for the children,
for each other, yeah.
And that there starts to come this investment that begins with recognition. And I have different concepts of things than other people, but I think the last thing, don't be offended by me, but I think the last thing the church in Kenya, for instance, needs is another pastor. Yeah. At the same time, the greatest need the church has in Kenya are real pastors. Yeah? So there must be a distinguishing I make here somewhere. And for me, pastoral ministry isn't about pulpit ministry. It isn't about being all things to all people. It's about a people that have the heart of a father or shepherd, whatever words we want to use there, that just really want to recognize the uniqueness and the value of human life, and then extend themselves to take hold of that
Yeah.
and lead that person to the fulfillment of that. You can't do that with many people at one time.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can't do it many.
And we fail congregationally just trying to do it from the pulpit.
That's true.
We may inject things in, but it's a very personal ministry. So what do we need? We need more pastors of that kind. We need
Yeah.
more pastors that
Yeah.
that understand that if I take hold of your hand to lead you where we mutually agree God wants to take you, probably the first thing that's going to happen, I'm going to run you right into the pain in your heart, the limitation in your life, the obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't know how to help you in the healing process, then that's as far as I can take you. Yeah?
Wow.
And I find these things really lacking in the church today.
Yeah.
I find
Yeah.
most places I find reputation is
good.
more important.
That's
I
good.
find position is more important. You know, than-
Titles.
Titles, yeah, they're more important.
Yeah.
And they all speak of a lack of value and responsibility that we really have as people.